everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make some cute little garden animals out of some terracotta pots. So if you want to know how to make them, stick around. I hope you do. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.
Okay, for this one I'm going to start with a terracotta pot saucer that measures 6 3/4 inches across. And then I'm going to take a flower pot that measures 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. The base paint that I'm going to use on the saucer and the 4 flower pots is the Decoart Americana Hauser medium green paint. Now you can use any kind of combination of paint that you want, but you do want to choose 2 different colors of green. And you could add actually 3 colors if you wanted to, but it's going to take 2 coats to coat both of these, the flower pots and the saucer. And then just let those dry real well. Okay, next I'm going to take a sponge and I'm just going to cut it into a shape. Now just cut it into just an odd shape. It doesn't have to be perfect, but kind of make it kind of round, but with some pointy edges and stuff like that. Just not perfect. And then it's about 1 inch probably diameter, and I'm going to use the Aloe paint in that same brand to make the design. Now just dip it in there and then dip it onto your deal. Now you might want to just dot it off a little bit because you don't want too much paint, but you want them probably about 1/4 inch apart. And take some time on this part because this is going to be your main focal area. And turn your sponge as you're doing it because you don't want all of it to be uniform looking. Kind of mix it up a little bit. And then once you get the center done, start doing some of the edges, and then we'll do the sides as well. Just look at a tortoise shell if you want to before you start. Kind of give you an idea of how much you want to put on there. Okay, then once you get it completely covered exactly where you want it, then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to kind of smooth mine out a little bit and get a little bit closer to each other so I have less space between them. Probably leaving about 1/4 inch or less between them. Just kind of shape it up a little bit so it's not so uniform. Next, I'm just going to take a round paintbrush and I'm just going to put 3 little dots on each one of these for the toes. And I'm going to do that to all 4 of the flower pots. Just kind of make sure that you do have a complete circle there. And I'm doing that with that same aloe color. For the head, I'm going to use a 2-inch round ball, and I'm going to use that same medium green, and I'm going to paint the head. Now, you're going to have to paint this a couple of times because the wood grain shows through, but it really didn't take that long, and if you use a heat source between it, you can get it done pretty quickly. And it did take 2 coats on this. Next, to paint the face, I'm just going to use some white acrylic paint, and I'm just going to kind of make an oval circle here. And then go ahead and fill it in. And if you want to, you can use the pre-made eyes that you can buy at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but I think it really looked cute if you just paint the eyes, and it's really not that hard. All you're going to do is just make a little oval circle and just fill it in. It's pretty quick and easy. That dries, I'm coming back in with some black, and I'm going to do a lower oval circle on the bottom. And just kind of fill it in. This is where it starts to give it a little bit of character. Just kind of make sure that you do get the black pretty dark. And then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add little eyelashes right to the side. Now, if you want to, on this part here and the mouth, you can use a Sharpie. I did it on the smaller one that I did, and it worked a little bit easier. And then on the mouth, I'm just going to put a little U on each side with a little line coming around to them with a U shape. It just really starts to give him some little character. And then go ahead and add a little dot of white right into the black. You really want to seal yours with a clear acrylic. I'm using the ultraviolet resistant clear by Krylon, but you can use any kind of clear you want, but don't skip this step and be sure and clear the head as well. To assemble it, I'm going to use some Loctite Power Grab in clear and just put a bunch of it on top of your flower pots. And you kind of want to get the edges as well, and we're going to put some hot glue too. Now, I'm struggling with mine a little bit because it is older. Check the expiration date if you're getting ready to buy it. When I got home with mine, because I didn't have time to go back, I noticed the expiration date was 2022. So it was a little bit harder to get out of the tube. So make sure you get a fresh one. And you could use E6000 glue if you would rather, but you want to add plenty of it. And then I'm just going to add hot glue all the way around the edges, and then go ahead and put your saucer on top of that. And then you're just going to let that dry real well. You don't want to pick it up. I mean, you could scoot it out of the way, but don't pick it up. And then for the little head, I'm just going to put some of the Power Grab right onto the front part. And I'm just going to stick that right on there. The Power Grab is really good because it does hold right away. And then let that dry. I think this little guy turned out so cute. I'm definitely going to put him in my yard. Let me know what you think. And if you want to make a smaller one, say maybe for your kitchen, I have that one coming up next. Also made a baby version. I had a saucer that measures 4 1/4 and a flower pot that measures 1 1/2 by 1 3/4 opening. And I'm painting it the exact same color as I did the bigger one. And just go ahead and do your saucer and your flower pots all the same color. Your spots, just go ahead and cut your sponge down a little bit smaller. And we're going to use that same aloe paint and do exactly the same thing to this one as we did the larger one. Just kind of get it to where you only have maybe 1/4 of an inch or even less between the little spots. Then I'm adding spots to this with a little bit smaller brush as well. And I'm just putting 3 on it just like I did the larger one. And you're going to do that to all 4 of them. Okay, then I got a little doll head. It has a flat bottom. This is a 1 1/2 inch doll head, and I'm painting it with that same medium green paint. Okay, for the head, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to make some little white oval circles for the eyes. And then I'm going to show you here, because I used the Sharpie on this one, I'll show you how easy it was to draw the face with the Sharpie. Okay, then go ahead and fill in with the black. Now you want to make sure that the flat part of that bead is facing the back of your hand. So that we're painting on the front part, the back part is the flat part. To draw the mouth, just do a little U shape on both sides and then do a U connecting it to the middle. The Sharpie was the easiest way to do this, and same with the eyelashes. To assemble it, I had to do it a little bit different because these were a little bit too wide to go up in here. So I'm taking some little blocks. These are like little 1/2 inch blocks I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to glue them down first to the flower pots, and then I'm going to glue the flower pot to the block. So if you have a flower pot that's too big to go underneath your saucer, just build it up with some pieces of wood. All you need is something in the center to hold it together. Okay, then I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on there as well, and then get my pot centered on there and let it dry. And then I'm going to come back in with my little head. I'm just going to put a little bit of the glue onto it as well, and then just attach it. And that was pretty simple. Just kind of make sure you get it even. This little one turned out so cute. I think I'm definitely going to put him in my kitchen. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you do yard art like this in your yard. This one I'm going to use the same size as I did the first turtle, but I'm going to sand down the ridges a little bit. This little saucer was a little bit rigid, and so I am going to sand it down. And we are making a ladybug. Next, I'm going to paint all of my saucer and my flower pots with a Martha Stewart Tartan red paint. Now, this is just acrylic paint that I had, and it really only took 1 coat on the red. And then do your flower pots exactly the same way. And it only took 1 coat on the flower pots as well. Okay, then let those dry real good. Then we're going to come back in and we're going to put some black just around the edge. So just kind of turn your flower pot as you're doing it. Then you won't get over the edge with the paint. Just kind of turn your flower pot instead of turning your paintbrush. And then you're going to do that to all 4 of them. And you may have to put 2 coats of the black on this to get it completely covered. Just kind of let it dry between coats and then just go ahead and double coat it. Okay, next I'm taking about a 1/2 inch round paintbrush, sponge brush, and I'm just going to put the dots on it. And I'm just going to kind of randomly do this until I have as many of them there as I want. But just kind of make sure you do get them filled in good and that you are spacing them about a 1/2 inch apart. And then get some down on the edges and then some down on the sides. And then we're going to do the same thing for the flower pots. We are going to give them some dots too. And on the flower pots, you're only going to get about 4 dots on there because that's about the maximum you'll have room for. And then let all this dry. Next for the wings, I'm just going to take a 12-ounce water bottle and I'm just going to cut off about 1/3 of it. And you can save that for another craft. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut my label off, and I'm just going to cut this in half. So I'm just going to cut up one side and the opposite side, and then I'll go ahead and cut up around the top part of it. Just kind of want to make sure that you do get them even. Okay, and then just snip those off right below the neck right there, and then we're going to straighten those up here in a little bit. Just kind of make them straight right there. Okay, then to give it a little wing shape, we're just going to go ahead and cut around the bottom in a curved shape. Kept them from being so straight at the bottom, but you do want to add a little bit of a curve to them. Then I'm going to spray paint these with a Rust-Oleum Sunrise Red paint. Okay, next for the head, I'm taking another one of those 2-inch wooden balls. Now I'm going to drill some holes for some antennas. So kind of mark on top of the head where you want your antenna holes to be. And then I'm just drilling with this with a small drill bit because I'm going to put a pipe cleaner in here. So just big enough for a little piece of wire to go into. And probably go down probably about at least 1/2 inch on those. Maybe even 3/4 inch might be a little bit better. Okay, and I'm just going to paint the entire head with this black acrylic paint. Just get it completely coated, and I think it took me 2 coats to get this one done. Next, we're going to go ahead and paint the face, and we're pretty much doing it exactly like we did the turtle. Same oval eyes, going to go ahead and put the black inside of it, and we're going to do the mouth in white. Okay, then for the mouth, I'm going to start it with a chalkboard paint pen. I'm just going to draw it out, and then I'm going to go back over it with some regular paint. And if you had a thicker chalkboard paint pen, you could probably just do it with the chalkboard paint pen. And I'm just using a real fine paintbrush to paint this on. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to put the black inside the eyes with the white dot, just like I did on the turtle. And then be sure and seal it too. Be sure and spray it exactly like we did on the turtle, because you want to make sure that this is going to be for outdoors. You do have it sealed in good from the weather. Next, for the antennas, I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and I'm just going to take a 1/4 inch dowel stick and wrap it all the way around till I make a swirl all the way up. And then we're going to cut this in half and divide it between the 2. Just kind of pull it open a little bit and then just cut it in half. And then we're just going to glue this, straighten up one end and go ahead and glue it down into the hole. Put a little bit of glue in there and then just stick it in there. And then do the same thing with the other one. And then we're going to add a little pom-pom to the very end here in just a second. So I'm just going to take the Loctite, put it onto the front part of my saucer, and I'm going to go ahead and attach my head. And I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on there to make it stay in place as well. And I'm going to set it up onto a Jenga block until it dries. And go ahead and add Loctite to the top part of your flower pots and go ahead and set your saucer on down on top of that and then let it dry really well before you move it. And again, I'd urge you to go ahead and check the expiration date on your Loctite because this was almost dried in the container. And I am getting a lot of the side on there too. And then just set it aside to let it dry. The wings, I'm going to go ahead and put some of the little dots on it just like I did on the body. Just kind of randomly put it on there. And you can use smaller dots if you want to. Just kind of get some dots on there. Okay, next to attach the wings, I'm going to take a styrofoam disc. It's a 1-inch disc by 3-inch, and I'm going to glue it into the wings. This was the easiest way to get it on there. I tried another way because you can probably see glue on my saucer, but it didn't work. This worked good because that styrofoam touches the flower pot. You know, a lot of times on this crafting stuff, it is trial and error. And then I'm just going to use Loctite on it as well. And I am struggling with that Loctite. Okay, and then just attach them right there on the front. Push them down till they make sure that they do grip good, and then let them dry. I think this little ladybug turned out so cute. These just make you smile. They're great to put in your garden, and they just bring a little smile on your face when you see them. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it.
Today we're going to be doing some terracotta pot art. I'm just kidding.
I know, you can slow down a little bit.
Terracotta pot. God, I'd die if I forgot to cut that out.
Why?